Okay, so we've skipped to learning target 4, straight from part 1 of learning targets 1 and 2. And this is going to have
Megan Dressman to the office, please. Megan Dressman to the office.
Sorry about that. This is going to have to do with solving quadratic equations, okay? So the whole purpose we're going to show you how to solve different types of quadratic equations, and we're going to show you several methods for how to do that. And when we get to learning target 3, after we've shown you all the different ways of solving, learning target 3 is going to be about choosing the best way, okay? So that's why we skipped learning target 3. Learning targets 4, 5, and 6 are going to be about the 3 different ways to solve quadratic equations. So in the past, we've solved equations using the golden rule of algebra, meaning what we do to one side, we do to the other. Okay, so we minus 1 from each side, we get 3x equals 9, we divide by 3, and we get x equals 3. And we're going to do the same thing in learning target 4. Okay, we're just going to do it with quadratic equations, meaning there's going to be an x squared term. There's going to be a term that has x to the second power. So first of all, the whole point of solving quadratic equations and why we're going to teach you how to do this is so that we can connect it back to the graphs. So what we're going to do is most of the time when we solve a quadratic equation, we're going to solve it for y equal to 0. And that's because if you think about your graph, I want you to make sure that you're drawing this picture in and then you write down the words that I write. If you're looking at a parabola, remember how in the last video I told you some of the most important points are the vertex and the roots?
Megan Dressman to the office, please.
And in this case, in every case for a parabola, the 2 roots are where y equals 0. So in this case, these 2 spots are where y equals 0. These are the 2 only places, the roots are the 2 only places on the graph where y is equal to 0. Okay, so that's why we're going to start solving quadratic equations for y equal to 0. So we're going to go ahead and just solve these equations. We're just going to use the golden rule of algebra. So we're going to solve each equation for when y is equal to 0. So I'm just going to rewrite the equation next to it, and I'd like you to do the same thing and substitute 0 instead of y. So all we're trying to do is find out what x squared equals 16. And we're going to take the square root of each side because the square root is the opposite of the square. And when I take the square root of x squared, I'm going to get x left over. And the square root of 16 equals positive and negative 4. It's important that you write down both answers for the square root of 16 because there are 2 roots. So if I were to graph this parabola, it's either going to open up or open down with roots at -4 and +4. Okay, so that's why we solved it, because we know that when y is 0, x is +4 or -4. Okay, same thing for this one. We're going to solve for y equal to 0, so we're going to rewrite the equation x squared minus 81 equals 0. We're going to add 81 to each side, and we're going to end up with x squared equals 81. We're going to undo the squared last step as the last step. And that'll get us x equals positive or -9. Okay? And then the very last one's going to be our most complicated one here. We're going to have x minus 2 squared plus 1 equals 50 plus 0, y equal to 0. So I'm going to minus 1. That gives me x minus 2 squared equals 49. If I square root each side to get rid of that squared, I'll be left with x minus 2 equals positive or -7. So I'm going to solve 2 equations here. I'm going to solve x minus 2 equal to +7 and x minus 2 equal to -7. So if by adding 2 to each side, I see that x either equals 9 or x equals negative 5. Okay? So you're going to do the same thing. I'm not worrying about substituting the y's in this one. I've already done that for you. But you're going to go ahead and you're just going to solve each equation for x. So you're going to figure out what x has to equal in each of these. Make sure that you show your steps. Okay? Also, I'm going to show you at your algebra site here. Before class, you need to make sure you fill this out, as well as, please, on the Atwood Video site at the top, click to this form that's highlighted in teal and fill out this form with your opinions about the flipped classroom. Ms. Olson and I are going to be presenting about it, and we would like to know how our students feel. And also, it's just really important to us that we make sure that we're taking your opinions into account. So these first 3 questions are required. The last one is not. So please make sure that you take the time after you're done taking down the notes and trying those problems to click to this form and get it filled out sometime before Wednesday, the 16th. All right? Okay.